Well, hello, blue herons. It is drawing day again, and we are here to draw the tiger today. Now, when I first was organizing this block, and after we had done our threefold human drawing with the eagle, lion, and the cow, Sidra emailed me and she asked if we could do a lioness for our lion drawing instead of a male lion, because she said correctly that lionesses do all or most of the hunting for lions, and so we should kind of showcase that. And I thought it was a great idea, but then I decided that we should do a tiger because I really love tigers. But I thought we could do a tigress and her cub today, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So yeah, we actually get to draw two tigers today. One big tiger and one tiny tiger. So I'm going to start up here with the head of my tigress. And I am actually going to start with her eyes. So I'm going to start right in the middle of her head. And tiger eyes are very round. And there's a cat eyes with those cat-like pupils that are slits instead of round pupils like we have. And then tigers have this beautiful black lining around their eyes. So their eyes are kind of slanted downward at an angle like this. There we go. Kind of looks cool with just the eyes there on the paper, doesn't it? Okay. And then we are going to do her nose or her muzzle in between there. So we're just going to kind of fill in between her eyes with the orange. And the orange is going to come up and just kind of come to a little rounded top up here. And then comes down a little farther to her nose. I need my pink. And actually, their noses are kind of outlined in black as well, so I'm just going to do a little black at the top. And then they have these noses that are like almost a heart shape, like a very squishy heart. And then the black just kind of lines all the way around. There's a nostril here, so it's a little bit thicker. There's her beautiful nose, and then of course the line of her muzzle comes down this way. And there's her top. Her top lip is there. And then she has little black speckles all along her muzzle, and that's where her whiskers come out, just like a, just like your house cat would, except this one probably weighs about 500 pounds. So female tigers weigh less than the male tigers do, but they are still, or like Bengal tigers, they're still very large animals. Just kind of do. And then her chin comes down this way. And so like her muzzle and her chin are mostly white, but there is like a little bit of like black speckling in there. You can kind of do those little feathery strokes to show where it is. All right. And then on her muzzle here, there's a little bit of black. And then some more orange comes down from her eyes to the edge of her muzzle. So notice how we're kind of building her face from the inside and working out. We didn't just like outline her face. Sometimes the outline method works really well, but sometimes you want to kind of shake it up a little bit. Okay, now around her eyes and above her eyes, there is a lot of white. So we're going to shade a little more orange around her eye, but see how I'm leaving just a little line of white there. So remember, a tiger's coat is very important to it because that's what helps it to camouflage and what makes it such a good hunter. So we want to try to capture those little details about their coat, because that's really important to their survival. Okay, cool. All right, now we get to work on some stripes here. So like I said, up above her eyes and coming around here and down here on her cheeks, there is a lot of white, but there's also, this is where her black stripes start to come into play. So we're gonna do like kind of an eyebrow stripe. It kind of comes right off of her. And don't worry if your stripes don't look exactly like mine, because a tiger's coat is just like a thumbprint or a fingerprint. It's unique to every tiger. Kind of looks like antlers on it right now, huh? Okay, and then there's stripes that come up off of here. And then there's like little tiny stripes. And then down here below, there's like a little stripe that comes down. Just remember that tiger stripes usually are symmetrical, meaning, you know, one side reflects the other side. So whatever you do to one side of your tiger for stripes, you want to make sure that you also do to the other side, because they are very symmetrical creatures. All right, we're going to take this one up just a little bit more around her face. And they don't have to be perfectly straight lines either, because, you know, they're in their fur, so they kind of have like that little texture of fur. Okay, so then this is the top of her head, and we're going to do her ears in a little bit. So then there's little, this is going to be the very top of her head, and then there's like little stripes that come out from that. Okay. And then she has one ear over here and one ear over here. And then you can bring in a little more orange around the top of her head too. And then around the base of her ears, there's a little more orange. And then coming down from there. So we're gonna kind of fill out her cheeks a little bit. So there's like a big stripe that kind of comes around here and comes all the way down to her muzzle. And of course we need one on the other side too. And then there's one that kind of comes up in the middle to meet it. Oh, this is starting to look cool. Tigers are so cool. Okay, we're gonna thicken up some of these lines here. This one gets pretty shaggy because around a tiger's face, their fur is a little bit longer. So these lines here look a little shaggier. They're not like very clean lines. Okay. And so then there's like some fur that comes in here. And I'm gonna kind of do the lines in orange, but this is white fur. But we're just gonna kind of use the orange to show that texture, just like we did for the eagle's feathers and also for Peter's fur in the rabbit drawing. And then this over here is kind of her neck too, so it's a little bit longer than the other side. So her head's kind of turning towards us. Oh, she's so beautiful. Okay, and we can add a little more of a stripe along here. We can bring that one in a little more. Make her chin a little bit darker. Okay, and then if you want, you can add a few whiskers too. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to use a little bit of my light brown and kind of show that shading there inside of her ears. Add a little bit more too, because you know you don't really see this like bright orange color naturally on animals. A little bit brown too. Okay, so now we have our lovely tigress's head and we're ready to do her body. And her cub is going to be snuggled up like right about here on her. So I'm going to go ahead and do her front legs because she's lying down. And then we'll go in and do her cub after that, okay? Okay, so her chest kind of comes down this way. And then her one leg comes out here. And then she's got a little bit of white on her chest here. So I'm just gonna kind of do a little bit of orange. Coming this way. I'm not gonna shade all the way back because I gotta save some space for the baby. I don't wanna have to draw over the mom to draw the baby. So that would be really, really hard. I'm just gonna kind of start shading in this orange fur here. I don't want it to be like a perfect line there, right? Because it's fur, so I'm gonna kind of shade over where I put that little indicator line. Okay, and then her other leg so comes out this way. I'm not gonna do her paws because there's gonna be like some grass growing over that way. Because when creatures lie down in the grass, you can't really see their feet very much. her legs are orange, and then it kind of fades out to white up here. Okay, I'm gonna give her some stripes. So on their chests, a tiger's stripes are kind of in a V pattern. She'll have some just kind of coming across. So the way that you do the stripes will kind of show kind of like where her muscles are and how her body is curving. Like if I wanted to show like how her leg is round here, I kind of round out that stripe. There we go. Okay, let's draw the cub now, shall we? Okay, so little Mr. Cub is gonna be right about here. He's gonna be just cozied right up to his mama's side. And the cubs have these little dark eyes. So there's his dark eyes. And they actually have a lot more stripes than the adults do, because the stripes are what really camouflage them well. And the cubs grow up in like these dens, right, that their mothers find. Maybe it's a fallen tree or a little cave or a little rock outcropping. And so that is, so that they grow up like in a shadowy place. So they're kind of colored the same as the shadows, so they blend in really well. So, and the cubs' noses are darker. They're more of a dark brown or a black. Here, there's his little mouth. So the cub has more orange on his face, but still up above here, where's my black? There it is. There's still a lot of white. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start putting in his stripes. They kind of come up this way. And they all kind of have this line down their top of their head, or the front of the middle of their head. And then the little stripes come off of that. Some of these are a lot thicker than adult stripes. Here's his little ears. And then he has more orange here on his cheeks. You see, and his face isn't as fluffy as Mama's face is. He still has this short little kid fur. But his muzzle and his chin are still fairly white. So we're going to save that white space there for him. And he still has a little bit of like white on his cheeks. So I'm not going to color that in completely. That kind of goes with the cub's coloring that protects them in the shadows. Okay, and then he's got a lot more little stripe beads under his eyes and down his face, just to keep him safe. Like I said, he's a darker orange. So I'm gonna go over his orange fur with the dark brown, so we can see that he's a lot more camouflaged for those dark hiding places. And his mom is more camouflaged to be out in the sun, you know, chasing prey out in the sunny spots. Because tigers, like tigers that live in India, the forests there aren't like jungles. They are more like sparse, kind of almost like a scrub oak forest is. So they're made to camouflage in this like kind of dappled sunshine that comes down through the trees. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the cub's body, and then we'll do the rest of mom's. All right, so he's lying here next to her. And he's like kind of pushed up on his front legs a little bit. He's a curious little guy. Same thing as his mom. He's mostly white on his chest. There's a little orange here on his neck. There's a little black here to show where his face stops. And he has pretty thick stripes here on his chest. See, I can kind of show the curve of him as I make the stripes. So that's kind of where his chest goes, and his legs come down this way. And then there will be grass coming up. And there's a little bit of orange that just kind of highlights his stripes. It's like I said, he's darker colored. And we're going to go over that again with the brown. And I'll probably blend this with the white a little bit. Give him some little leg stripes here. I'm just going to use my white pencil and blend that orange and brown together a little better. I just sharpened my brown pencil and it's kind of a little bit streaky. The lead's a little jagged. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And his back just kind of comes down this way and it's going to disappear into the grass. Okay, so we're just going to do some stripes along his back. Like I said, your stripes don't have to look exactly like mine, because the tiger stripes are very unique to them. Just take your time, don't rush it. You might have some little skinny ones, because cubs often do. Make these a little longer. I said, I'm not going to do like a super thorough job of coloring in the orange because like I said, they are kind of like orange white kind of mottled, which just helps them camouflage that much better. I'm just going to like carefully use the side of my brown. Okay, there's our cup. Okay, cool thing about tigers is they have this thing called a dorsal stripe, which is a black stripe in their case that goes all the way down their back. So with Mom, she's kind of rolled to this side just a little bit so we can see the top of her back, and then you'll be able to see just a tiny bit of this side on the other side of her. So let's see here. So I'm just gonna kind of put in her shape really quick, just with the orange. Just lightly, kind of like we did for Peter's face last time. So the Mom's background color on her fur is all orange. I'm just gonna kind of blend in this leg color here. Being careful not to just scribble over my cub. And then her hind end will kind of come around this way. And her tail's kind of tucked around behind her so you can't see her tail. And of course her back legs are tucked under her too. Okay. So I've got her shape, and then so her dorsal stripe will kind of come this way and it'll follow her spine, and that right there would be where her tail began. So this would be like where her backbone is. It's kind of just a thick black stripe. And again, give it a little texture because it is, you know, it's her fur. But yeah, you can see how it kind of looks like she's kind of rolled a little bit. And then all of her other stripes will come off of this dorsal stripe here. So like this one will come right around to meet. And then there will be others come off of it. You can, like I said, you can kind of show where the curve of her muscles are and things by the way that you curve your stripes. Add just a little bit of a shadow right here so you kind of tell that that's where her leg is, but it also kind of helps that that could also be a stripe, you know? And sometimes it's not just like one stripe that comes off the dorsal stripe. Sometimes it kind of looks a bit like the end of a river. You know, have you ever watched a river or a creek as it goes into the ocean and there's a bunch of little tributaries that meet up? And then maybe at some point it branches out again. So this is kind of another way that tigers reflect the patterns of the earth. Those are stripes kind of reflect it. And then you can do some stripes. You just see a little bit of coming off on the other side of her. So you're going to see some stripes, you know, coming down this way across her stomach. And you can kind of tell as we're finishing this picture that another way the tiger cubs can stay safe is by staying close to their mothers. Because look at how that cub is just kind of blending in there with his mama. So if they're close to mom, right, then other predators aren't going to see them. And sometimes the male tigers, if they are looking for territory, or if they want to mate with the mom, they might kill the cubs so that they have that female all to themselves. So they have to stay safe from the male tigers a lot too. A great way to do that is to stay close to mom. Pretty appropriate we're doing this picture on the week of Mother's Day, right? And tiger stripes aren't always straight, they're kind of squiggly sometimes. So, just kind of have fun with them. Okay, I think that mama looks pretty good. I'm going to darken up some of these stripes that are a little bit lighter. I think this pair is just about ready. What do you think? Yeah, that turned out cool. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna grab my green pencils here, and we're just gonna put a little bit of grass that comes up around these guys. Just little tufts of grass. They are just cooling off in this hot Indian sun or Sumatran sun or wherever they happen to live. Do a few in here for texture. I'm going to go over that again with my dark green, right? Because we want to blend our colors. You never see just one color in nature. There's always a multitude of colors going on. just gonna use the side of my lead. And fill this grass in. And be careful not to like scribble any green. Up on my tigers. Bright green. You know, maybe there's a little grass going behind them as well, and I've got a little grass between Mama's feet. You know, so it doesn't just look like they're lying on the top of the earth. Green up here. I didn't put it before. A little more textured grass here. Cool. Okay. And give me a minute, I'm gonna go empty up my pencil sharpener. Okay, and I think, I don't know why, but I'm just feeling like I want to do purple pencil shavings up here tonight. Who knows why? It just feels right. So I'm going to go for it. I think purple really makes the orange of the tiger fur pop. And if you want to do blue, go ahead and do blue. That's fine. This is just what I felt like doing today. Okay, well, we call that done. So there you go, a tiger and her cub. Hope you had fun doing this with me today. And I hope that you're enjoying our human and animal bloom block, because man, I know I am. So fun to learn about different animals and tell stories about them. Speaking of human and animal, now Pickles is beating at the door to be let in, so I'm gonna go let him in, and I'm gonna let you guys get to work on this. All right, enjoy. I will see you guys later.